The Do This podcast is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network. In today's episode, Chad Hyams dives into a fascinating conversation with Lucas Sherraden, a real estate expert and former minister. Lucas is a seasoned real estate professional based in the Kansas City, Kansas metro area. With a career spanning back to 2008, Lucas has served in various capacities, including real estate agent, brokerage owner, and executive within a national franchise. Listen as Lucas explores his unique approach to managing a multi-state real estate team without direct client interaction, focusing on leveraging systems like Brivity and effective team management. Discover strategies that could transform your business and leadership style. We hope you enjoy this episode of the Do This podcast presented by Brivity.
Welcome, everybody. We are here I say we, but we is not Bob anymore. We is one less this week. Bob, unavailable to join us today, yet that doesn't mean we're not going to cover some amazing stuff with an amazing guest. And sometimes I actually enjoy when Bob isn't here because he doesn't interrupt my thought pattern when I get to ask amazing, amazing questions. So let's get right to it for this week's webinar by Brivity on Do This. And our guest this week is your friend, whether you know him or not, and definitely my friend, Lucas. Lucas, welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much, Chad. Good to be here.
Good to see you, my friend. We don't do bios. We don't do them on the Win, Make, Give podcast. We don't do them here on this. You get to introduce yourself to our audience. Let them know who you are so they know who they're hearing from.
Sure. My name is Lucas Sherraden. I live in the Kansas City metro area. On the Kansas side, I have been in real estate since 2008 as an agent, then got to run some offices and owned a few brokerages and worked for a national franchise, helped with a lot of recruiting and growth there, and do a lot of teaching, speaking, coaching, and I still have a team and hanging out to a few brokerages for now.
Okay, and Lucas, I know you quite well from our time together, talking, working together, sharing. You have a history even before real estate that is really powerful. Would you take a moment, even though it has nothing to do with Brivity or real estate success, but would you just let everybody know your history, where you come from?
Sure. I started when I was 16 years old. I started preaching. I felt called to ministry, and so started as a teenager. By the time I was a senior in high school, I was hosting a 2-hour TV show, which was, thank goodness that the tapes of those shows went up in a fire with that ministry, because I would hate it if it ever appeared on YouTube. It was probably awful. I think my mom and dad were the only people who watched it, and so. And anyway, my senior year in high school, I think I preached over 56 times all around Kansas City, the Kansas City metro area, was in youth ministry, planted a church, traveled worldwide, and last year in ministry flew 125,000 miles and was missing everything with my 4 children and wife, and decided I had gone around the world, played with everybody else's kids, and now it was time to come home. Watched 3 episodes of House Hunters, thought real estate would be an easy career, and so in 2008 in Houston, Texas, I got into real estate.
Awesome. Folks, if you don't know that House Hunters is recorded before, like they already have the house, then you're being fooled, right? They never go blindly hoping they're going to win the house. They're already under contract when they do that show. All right. Complete behind the scenes to ruin all that. And Lucas, thank you for sharing your story. Folks, if you did not know, I learned something new about Lucas today. That's his middle name. It's You're No Help. That's his middle name, as I learned earlier today while texting with Lucas back and forth. Lucas, you have so much value. We could talk about, you and I could go on to any topic and just this half hour would fly by. Yet let's focus on you and your real estate team, at least to start. Folks, if you stick around on this one, I have this feeling Lucas and I will get into some personal development. We'll get into some leadership training for you possibly. Yet I want to make sure we're hitting on the things they're expecting at least. So Lucas, tell us about your real estate organization currently as it looks.
Right. So several years ago, I was sitting in an office of a person who is a mentor of my time, a founder of a major real estate franchise, who said, let's just be honest, the future of real estate is 2 groups. Going to be the people who are working as an employee selling real estate, and it's going to be top teams, and nobody else will exist. Well, at that time, I owned 9 brokerages, and I'm like, oh no, I'm in trouble. because my bread and butter is like a $4 or $5 million producer, and if they're going to join a top team or become an employee, I need a pivot. So I walked away from there, called my friend Ben Kenny, and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting a team. I don't want to sling houses. I don't want to look for buyers and sellers. I just want to find another way to serve agents inside my brokerages." So I started a team about 4 years ago. And I started in Colorado, and I didn't have a Colorado license. And I've never had a license. I started it with the vision that I would never personally transact ever. Last year, fast forwarded a few years, last year we did 107 transactions, just under $1.1 million of GCI. I've got about 13 people on the team. We've got a location in Colorado and a couple of locations here in the Kansas City metro area. And I still have yet to meet one of our buyers or sellers.
That's the point I was hoping you were going to bring up. So you're telling me you're running a team of 13 agents over multiple locations, including multiple states.
Right.
2 states or 3? I mean, are you Missouri and Kansas?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So 3 states, 2 of them really close, one of them a little farther away. And you've never met a single one of the 107 clients you guys helped last year?
No. In fact, all the previous years, I've never met. I don't think I've actually met any buyer or seller. I do know my agents. I do know our people. And I started with the vision, what could this happen? And I'm living proof that the whole myth, you've heard it as a coach, Chad, they'll only use me, only exists in the mind of the agent.
Right. Absolutely. Right. They'll only use me. Folks, you go to a restaurant, it might be a different chef back there. The food's still the same, right? You go to Nordstrom's, they're amazing customer service, yet it'll be a different person. It'll still be amazing customer service. The same thing is true in real estate. You're not as important as you think. Sadly, it's your values and your systems that they want. And Lucas, you've done a great job of spreading that over your 13 agents. Now, I don't think there's anybody on this call that wouldn't say the worst part of real estate are the buyers and sellers. Right? So Lucas, what are you possibly doing that's allowing me go copy you and do this so that I don't ever have to see a buyer or a seller again, yet I can still help 107 people buy houses?
I think it starts, Chad. I love that. Real estate is massively simple. It's the people that are a challenge. And so if we can figure out a way how to handle people at scale, we have made our lives completely different. And that takes reinvention. And so I think that there's 2 things as I think about if anybody aspires to get to this level where they're actually running a business and they're not servicing the business, one is you have stated vision. So I start off with a stated clear vision that says, okay, what would it look like? How can I sell 100, 200 homes a year and never meet a client and never have to service negotiations of repairs? So I start with that. But secondly, and it's Peter Singe's book, The Fifth Discipline, that talks about this, is stated vision, and then there's the emerging vision. It's like, what is happening? Who's appearing? What situations are coming for me? So it starts with those 2 components of vision. I have discovered, Chad, and you have too, I know it from reading your books and listening to you, is that I either let life and business happen to me or I happen to it. And both of them have hardships. So business happens to me and it's going to be hard. I happen to it and it's going to be hard. I just get to choose which route I want to go. And I'm more committed to my vision than I am to my emotions. And so I'm going to stay the course with the vision of saying, how do I develop a profitable business? So it starts with there. Second thing is it goes to, do you have a proven system and tools that enable people to get into production quickly or helps existing agents who want to partner with your team? Can they double, triple, quadruple their business? So if you have proven systems to do that and tools that enable you to do that. And then the third thing is most important is people. Getting in, and Chad, I think I have a PhD of getting in business with the wrong people. I have brought people on because I like them. I've brought people on because I feel sorry for them. I've brought people on because they're just, put a mirror underneath their nose and they fog it up. I've done all of it. And I hate the fact that we have cliches because they're just cliche, but it's so true. Who you get in business with deeply matters. And so I was talking to a top agent this morning, and you can't want something more for a person than they want it for themselves because you can't push rope up a hill.
Yep.
That's just impossible to do. And so I have to find people who are authentically committed to their goals and their dreams, and then give them an on-ramp to their dreams. And that's leadership. Is I provide an on-ramp for you to hit your dreams. And so when you have the right people, it's funny because you mentioned the hard part about real estate is the people. If you have the right people, it's the easiest part of real estate. It's finding the right people that makes all the difference in the world.
Okay, so let's start there and we'll go backwards, because I heard three things in there. You mentioned the vision, right? That was key. The systems, and then of course the people. So let's talk for a few minutes about the people, since that's where you finished off. And if you have the right people, how do you find the right people? How do you identify the right people? How do you hold the right people to the standard so that they remain the right people, Lucas? Talk on that for us for a minute.
Yeah, and that's I think that is all of business. Businesses rise and fall upon the people that you have inside of them. And so one is I want to find people who are filled with integrity. I have certain criteria that I clearly know what I'm looking for, because I've been tricked by nice people before, and I've been tricked by smooth talkers before. So I have my missing persons report. These are the types of people that I want in my world. I'm 58, Chad. I know I don't look a day over 39, but I'm 58.
I was going to say you don't look a day over 64, but that's
that's awesome. I can't help you, definitely. And so, however, I'm at the point in my life where I just don't want to be I don't want to be in business with people who suck the living life out of me.
Yep.
I want to be in business with people who just need some help getting where they want to go, but they're committed to that destination. Yep. And so, number one, I have a clear, defined vision of who it is that I want to be in my world.
So you have a missing persons report of who you're looking for as step one.
That is exactly right. And then I talk to a lot of people, because there's 7 billion people on this planet, and I only need 13 to meet my goals.
Okay.
And so you were in a position of a recruiter as well. Is like, I don't have a crystal ball, because every time I think, oh, this person's going to be the next Ben Kenny, that person's working at Verizon in a few months. And yes. the sure is shooting when I say this person is never going to make it in real estate, they're the National Rookie of the Year. So right. What I can't determine is when your back is against the wall and your emotions are screaming at you to quit, what decisions do you make there? And so I need to be really clear on who it is I want and I intend to bring in. And then I'm going to talk to as many people as I can, because I'm going to guess, 25, 30% of them actually do what they say they were going to do. And I have to be.
What I heard in that hangout is that of every 4 you find that fit what you're looking for, really only one of them is going to come through in the long run.
Absolutely. And of every 4 that I find that I think is going to make it, I've talked to probably 16. So that 4-to-1 ratio is in just about everything. Right. So I talk to 4, find one I think is going to make it. I bring 4 that I think is going to make it, and only one really actually carries through. And you actually know in the first 90 days whether they're going to live through their commitments or not.
Right.
Real estate is an input-output game. There is no output showing up without the input. Mm-hmm. And I have to find people who want the input, and that's demonstrated over just on time. And so that's number one on bringing people. Number 2, accountability is just awareness. And if my accountability is based upon anything other than an objective number, I'm really in trouble. And so everything about holding somebody accountable, which, by the way, I grew up in church and ministry, and whenever I grew up saying, I'm going to hold you accountable, that was like punitive. That was going to be punishments involved. Right. I had to reframe accountability. Accountability is awareness. Chad, you said you were going to do 10. You did 5. What do you think? And what are we going to do now? Or you said you were going to do 10 and you did 12. How are we going to celebrate that? What do you think now? What can we do better? I am very particular about the way to coach people to greatness is to make sure that all of their goals are measured by a specific number in a lead measure. And if I can't measure it, then I can't hold you accountable. I can't hold you accountable to doing better.
Right.
You and I both have run marathons. We both have been in health and fitness. Man, it changed everything when I can actually measure my heart rate, when I can actually measure. I'm a tonal user just like you are, and it drives me nuts when my strength score goes backwards. And I know it's just a silly thing. However, objective numbers help me measure against myself, against history, against how am I doing in relationship to goals. So every day on Slack, Our team reports how many dials did they make, how many conversations did they have, and how many appointments did they set. And invariably, I'll have people say, I went under contract. And I'm like, that's great, but how many dials did you make? How many I want lead measures, because you're under contract in your closings, while it makes us feel good and we're high-fiving each other. That's kind of the result of the work you did 90 days ago. So we hold people accountable to their lead measures because they said they had goals.
Love that you added that, Lucas. We've heard it on a few other calls. Bob and I have talked about lead versus lag measures on a bunch of these calls with people. And I hope everybody listening heard that. Yes, give them the high five that they got a contract when you're holding somebody to a goal. Yet that's a lag measure. Right? Not the lead measure. We need to make sure we're going back and saying, what are the activities that are going to bring the next contract? So I'm so glad you brought that up. Okay, so that's a little on people. Let's go back. The second thing on your list of 3 was systems that you have in place. Brivity is obviously part of said system. Talk to us about the systems you're putting your people through, having them use, and where the benefits and strengths are that are helping them grow.
Yeah, and Brivity, and honestly, the only way that we've gotten to 107 is because we have the Cadillac, like Brivity, because it gives me all the analytics. I know that, like an agent, I know, just let me go personal. My emotions ebb and flow, and I can't put a number to that. However, if somebody comes and says these leads stink, or I'm not getting any traction, or I'm not getting any, I'm not getting the closings that I want. Now I actually have an objective tool to be able to pull up and say, let's take a look at your dashboard. Let's take a look at your market reports. Let's take a look at the people who are visiting your website. I actually have actionable measurables that I can say, let's just lean here. And I don't know how the most advanced Brivity user, I'm going to guess Bob could probably go into their Brivity and find opportunity, right? And so there's always opportunity there. What Brivity and as a tool enables me to do is have an actual business conversation with an agent who is authentically struggling. Now I have to also decide, Chad, and you've got many years of coaching too. Sometimes agents are just there to gripe. They don't want a solution to their problem. They don't want to they want to feel sorry for themselves because they're in a funk. And honestly, as a coach, sometimes, okay, you're in a funk, and I'm not going to be prescriptive here because you want to feel sorry for yourself. And so I'm going to let you wallow for a few minutes. What do you want to do now? If they want to get out of that, let's go find diagnostics. So for me, Brivity and Slack, we use Slack a lot as well for accountability. Those 2 tools help me systemize the conversation. There was a great book years ago called 4 Disciplines of Execution, McChesney and Stephen Covey. And one of them, they talked about a cadence of accountability. Mm-hmm. Brivity allows me to get into a cadence of accountability. The problem with the cadence of accountability as a leader, if I ever stop, I'm out of cadence. And then they're going to say, because people will go wherever you don't inspect. And so I'm going to be really careful to inspect, how are you doing with your conversations? And if you're having like 200 conversations a week and not getting any appointments, I know exactly how to fix your business. If you're having 50 appointments a week, but you're not getting any agreements, I know exactly where to fix your business. If you're getting a bunch of agreements but no closings, we know exactly what to do there. I think that as a leader, without a system, it's kind of like practicing medicine without diagnosing the patient.
Right.
Prescription without good diagnosis is malpractice. And I think there's a whole heck of a lot of malpractice going on right now. So in Brivity, the dashboard is everything for me. I could see at a snapshot how many calls, how many contacts, how many open houses, how many, whatever it is, their lead measures are, their lead generation levers. I can see exactly what numbers on there, and then we could go address it.
Okay, let me ask this just to push back on that a little. I agree. It's a powerful tool for accountability purposes and being able to help coach them where the gap is, right? Oh, you're not making dials. Oh, you're making dials, you're not talking to anybody. Oh, you're talking to people, you're not getting appointments. Oh, you're getting appointments, you're not getting the contracts, right? You're getting contracts, you're not getting closings. We can find the gap to coach to as somebody who's leading an organization. Let's start at the beginning though. What is it you're doing to actually get them to put the data in Brivity? Because so many of them want to say, well, I just use my cell phone or something like that. How are you getting them to put the data in Brivity so that you can track the results of the people that you're responsible for?
That is actually such a great question. I remember early in my journey, Brivity journey, Bob getting on a call with a group, and he pulled, I don't remember, some operators Brivity account up. I'm like, oh my gosh, he just put that up for everybody to see, which made me kind of get right with God. And so we pull Brivity up on team meetings. I put it on the screen because if you're a professional athlete, your scoreboard is very public.
Yes.
And because your scoreboard is very public, there's a high level of accountability to whether you're in a batting slump or you're doing really good. Or the bigger the scoreboard, the more visible the scoreboard, the more professional you are.
Love that.
And I think, and it's not a, I don't want to, I want to make sure everybody understands. I'm not trying to do a gotcha moment. That's not my intent. I am very committed to your goals. Now, if your goals change, I'm cool. Let's talk about that.
Right.
But you still want to make $100,000 a year, which they all do coming out of real estate school. If you really are committed to that, that's what's going to happen. So let's look at your scoreboard. And by the way, when I put a scoreboard up and I take a name off of it and I say, hey guys, coach the scoreboard, my whole team could coach with excellence the scoreboard because it's not personal.
Right.
They understand the objectives of doing that. So for me, they know that any week I could pull up a scoreboard and say, let's talk about this. And I talk about Slack. We'll pull up our Slack reporting because sometimes our guys don't report at the end of the day on Slack. And we make it very public. We take the shame off of it because shame doesn't make anybody great. It's just a number. Now, what are you going to do about that?
Love that. Love it. Right. And folks, listen to what he's telling you. 107 families helped last year. He didn't meet one of them. Right. Yet what did he do? He helped 13 agents on his team each build their business. I mean, right? Some of them sold this many, some of them that many, some of them are new, some of them are experienced, yet they work towards achieving their goals, which helped Lucas achieve his goals by helping these families achieving their goals. So having the scoreboard and putting it up there, I love what you said there, Lucas, that the bigger the scoreboard, right? You go to the Super Bowl, that scoreboard's big. You know when that quarterback's screwing up, right? You know when the goalie's having a horrible run or is on a hot streak and nothing gets by him in the sport, right? Fantastic reference to that. Okay.
Think about it. If you, me, and Bob went out and Ben, we played 2-on-2 basketball.
We'd lose.
Yeah. However, everybody just watching us could tell if we're just farting around or if we've got money on the game.
Right.
You could totally tell them. And the difference in how we show up is that scoreboard and what's at stake there. I think in real estate teams, we try to be nice and we nice people into bankruptcy. I don't think it's nice not to make a public scoreboard. And honestly, hi, Chad, welcome to our team. This is how we operate. And if that's your first day on the job, that's normal behavior to you. Scoreboards are normal. It's just part of it. I want people to play as if the entire world could see their scoreboard because you play the game differently. If we were playing 2-on-2 basketball, guarantee you, if we had money on it, it looks one way. If we weren't keeping score, it looks totally different way. It's the same thing in real estate teams.
We nice people into bankruptcy. I might have to quote you on that and post that socially before you get to it. All right. You said people. That was the third thing, right? The right people. We talked about that. You said systems. That was the second thing you had gone over. We've talked about that. The first thing you had mentioned, as I'm going backwards on them, was the vision. Yeah. That had to be. Take the last few minutes. We've got 4 or 5 minutes here with our audience. Let's talk about how to cast. First of all, I guess how to create the right vision, and then how to cast that vision. Lucas, you are a master at this.
Well, I'm very definitely a work in progress. So I think for me, it's Keith Cunningham wrote a book, The Road Less Stupid. And in it, one of his premises is we don't spend enough time thinking. And I think that it's been challenging over the last 4 or 5 years because I think in my career up to a certain point, I was told what to want. That you want to gross 10, you want to have 40 appointments, you want to have this, you want to have that. And so, Chad, you're breaking into PTSD with those comments, but it's like
I am. I'm shaking under the camera.
Yeah. And so I think a few years ago, it's like, what do I really want? Because I can define with great clarity what I don't want. I don't want stress. I don't want discord. I don't want disease in my family. I don't want unhealthiness. I don't want this jelly roll around my stomach. I don't want whatever it is. And as I began to define what I do want and started moving toward what I do want instead of what I don't want, real honestly, for me, it started out pretty vague. Well, I do want to help people. Well, that's not really specific. So what does helping people mean? And I was able to get to a place by spending about an hour a week just thinking about what I do want. I hired a coach to guide me through. And I mean, she called me once a week for half an hour. And what do you want? Okay, is that really real? Is that just a surface answer? What's important about that to you? And I came to what I do want, and that became my vision. And the vision is just having a clear photograph in your head of what the preferred future looks like. And that's why I say you have a stated vision and then there's an emerging vision. I never would have guessed that as a part of my stated vision that I would be on a call with Chad Hyams talking about my vision. That's emerging vision. That just happened, right? Along the way of hitting my stated vision. I didn't know, you asked me about it. I didn't know that it would include writing a book that's taken me 4 years to do. That's emerging vision. However, it's like, what does it mean to really inspire passion within people to achieve their God-given destiny of greatness? And I began to think about that. And this is what I realized. Vision is a decision that either I make on my own behalf or the world stands ready to impose its sense of vision onto me, and I have to adopt their vision for me. I just would rather live and the people listening, I'd rather you live your vision, get really clear about what you want, know that you may have to edit it along the way. You may have something emerge like, well, that actually does fit my vision, and you get more clarity, and don't let anybody take it from you.
Give me a question everybody should ask themselves to help them find their vision or work towards a clearer image. I love that it's having a clear picture, right? How many times do we have that photograph? Maybe not anymore because our phones are so good. Yet how many times do we have that old picture where it's like, it's kind of blurry, right? What was it? It was out of focus. That clear picture, right? When I'll have ChatGPT create an image for me, if I watch it do it, it's very fuzzy, and then it gets clearer and clearer and clearer until the image hits the final stage of it. And I'm like, oh, that's the image that you're creating for me. Okay, what's the question, Lucas, everybody on this call should ask themselves to help move one step closer towards the clarity of their vision?
That's a great question. I don't know that I have the answer, but I'll tell you what my answer is.
Okay.
What do you want? And what about that's important to you? And be like ruthlessly, ruggedly, violently honest with the answer. You want what you want. I don't want what you want, Chad. You can want some things and I can think it's noble, but I have to get really honest. What do I really want? And what about that's important to me? And then probably ultimately, what does that give me? What does that provide for me? So like money, what do you want? And what about that dollar amount is important to you? And ultimately, what does that provide? And when I get really honest with it, I know kind of like what my core value. I love peace. I love security. I love generosity. There's certain things that I authentically, you don't have to motivate me to love. I love those things. So for me, it's just sitting in the stink because it stunk for a while. What do you want? I just have spent an awful lot of my life living what everybody else wanted for me, whether it's ministry, as a team leader in Keller Williams, as a regional director, as a coach, as a speaker. Boy, it's so easy to live everybody else's vision for your life, and you just get lost not knowing what you actually want for yourself.
I love that you say that. Folks, don't go live someone else's vision that they tell you you're supposed to go sell X number of houses, or that you're supposed to build a team of X number of agents, or that you're whatever. What's your vision? There are many agents out there, folks, that are using the tools that we have, and they're selling 20 homes a year. They're incredibly happy because it's their vision of, I don't want to work that much. Then there are agents out there who are selling 50 homes using the tools that we have for saying, I want this income level because it then allows me to do that, and that. Folks, it's got to be your vision. Lucas, you make such a powerful point. If it's not your vision, you're not working towards it. You're being dragged towards it by someone else, and you'll always go there kicking and screaming. 3 powerful topics from Lucas today. Don't listen to just one of them. Hear how he connects all of them for you. Lucas, we really appreciate you sharing this week on Do This.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, Bob will be back next week, I think. Join me and find out. Speak to y'all later.